If you are ever trying to make somebody else do what you want them to do, it's not very efficient and also quite often counterproductive to try to force that person to do what it is you want. Instead, what you want to do is make the other person think they want to do it for themselves. Make the other person think they need to do what you want them to do. That's actually the only way to efficiently make someone do something you want them to do. The same is true in sales and business. The first proposition of all business is self-gain. You're trying to make money for yourself or for your corporation. Now, it's not very efficient to scream at people and demand that they buy what it is you are offering. Instead, what you want to do is take the necessary steps to make people think they need what it is you are offering. Make them feel like it's a necessity. Then you'll sell your product. Every person in politics or in business, every successful person in a corporation understands this most basic principle of human nature, human psychology. Now, why is it relevant to our current political situation? Because we are currently involved in a three-stage process designed to make you want something that you do not actually need. Designed to force you to accept something which you don't really need. 3 stages. The first stage we've already passed through. We're currently enduring the second stage, moving into the third and final stage of complete transformation. The first stage was commonly referred to by the media as war on terror. Okay? What it was basically was Western governments, bankers and people behind the Western governments that you do not see, using the Western military without the informed consent of the general public to invade the Middle East for freedom, for democracy, for oil and resources, a number of other different excuses. But really it was about something bigger than that. Stirring up Islam. Making an enemy out of Islam. Islam, you have to imagine, is like a big wasp nest in the Middle East. Surprisingly, if you leave it alone and you stay away from it, unless it has really good cause, it's not going to give you any trouble. However, if you go into that area where the wasp is located, the wasp nest is located, and you keep that nest, you stamp holes in it, and then you go back home, you're going to stir it up. You're going to give it reason to hit you back, reason to hate you. And that was the whole purpose of the war on terror. It wasn't about freedom or peace or democracy. It wasn't about oil and resources, not necessarily. Maybe some rich corporations and companies capitalized on the situation and made some money for themselves, but that was just a side issue. Fundamentally, it was about stirring up Islam, making them hate us and us hate them. Stage 2. Refugees. Stage 1, stir them up, create refugees. Western activity in the Middle East has made things far worse than they ever were in the Middle East before. ISIS and other various extremist organizations, fundamentalist Islamic groups, jihad, it's all, realistically, the result of Western interference in the Middle East. So, keep that nest, stir up those wasps, and then start letting them all in. Let's imagine that you live in a house, okay? This is your house here, if you can see that. Now, on this side of you, you have a neighbour, and on that side of you, you have a neighbour. This neighbour over here is an Aussie, and this one over here is a Muslim family. And this neighbour tells you, those people over there are terrorists, jihadists. They don't like us very much. Their wife married their son or their cousin or whatever it is they do. Tells you that these people are horrible people. And you start to get angry and confused. So you leave your property, cross over into theirs, rip doors off the hinges, kick holes in the walls, slap the wife, bash the man, spit on the floor, wipe your muddy boots on their carpet, and then you go back home. Okay? Now what do you do when you get back home? Do you lock your doors and your windows to protect yourself from retaliation? Or do you open your doors up, open your windows up, and put a big sign at the front saying, everyone welcome, inclusion, diversity? Because that's exactly what our country and other Western countries have done. Not the people. The people are not responsible for this. Not Italian people, not English people, not German people, not Australian people. However, it is the people that will suffer the consequences, not the governments. Not the hidden hand behind the government, certainly not. It is us, which Islam holds responsible for what happened in the Middle East, for the so-called war on terror. So, Western powers go into the Middle East, stir up that mess, go back home and open up their borders. They don't secure their borders and prepare for counter-attack. No, they open them up. And the liberal leftists spring to action. Anti-racism, pro-refugee nonsense. You'll notice that in the last 15 years the media has done a complete backflip. Back 10, 15 years ago, all Muslims were terrorists, threats, just horrible Arab people. But now, in stage 2, the media talks about not all Muslims are terrorists. It places emphasis on the fact that there are Muslims in our society who are good people. Tries to use individual examples of Muslims, clean-cut, professional, well-spoken, intelligent Muslims, as a representative example of the entire group. Now the media does the opposite. Now it's those nationalists, those patriots, those conservatives who are the bad guys. The people who are trying to prevent this beautiful humanitarian process from taking place. Okay? But what's it leading to? Why do all the big powers in the world support this? Why is the Pope, billionaire EU commissioners, United Nations, mass media, governments all around the world, actors, celebrities, why do they all come out in support of this nonsense? And why do they attack people so ruthlessly who try to do what is just basic common sense, close the borders and protect ourselves? Because it's all parts of a process. Then we go into stage 3. What is stage 3? Well, eventually society ceases to function properly. Racism has become so bad, clashes and conflicts so severe, that a white guy cannot walk to the store to do his shopping without possibly being shot or decapitated by Muslim gangs, and vice versa. A Muslim person cannot walk to the store to buy his meat or whatever he gets without possibly being beat up by Aussie gangs, Aussie kids. Okay? Everything's so bad, everything ceases to function. And for a couple of years, home invasions, violence, murders are just commonplace. And so the people are ready for a saviour. A saviour, a new form of administration. It's time for global government, they say. It's time for something strong that isn't going to allow all of this racism anymore. No more conflicts, no more division, no more street brawls, no more terrorism. We need a good, strong system of government. All the people left, they all support it. They all say, yes, this is what we need. We need this in order to feel safe and secure again. And that's it. A 3-stage process. Create an enemy. Kick that wasp nest and stir it up. Give it reason to hate you. Go back home afterwards, but don't lock your doors, don't close your borders. Open them up, let them in. Put liberal leftists in power, in media, government, education. Make sure that anybody who wants to do what ought to be done and just build a big wall, stop these people from coming in, prevent this process from taking place, make sure these people are all portrayed as horrible, racist, Nazi, evil, criminal people. Use me for an example. Do you think you'll ever see a positive report on my character in the media? Has the media ever given me an opportunity to explain myself? Will it ever? No. I'm a heretic. I'm a problem for this process. I'm not contributing to it. I'm trying to prevent it from taking place. Because this, when society collapses, it's going to be, the circumstances are going to be horrible. Something you can't imagine. What you've seen in war films, in history, people burning alive, dying on the streets, starving, civil war, genocide, it's going to be commonplace for a good couple of years at least. Until enough time has passed for the same people who created this problem, the same big money powers, to present themselves as the solution. We have a solution for you now, they say. No more Australia, no more different countries and nationalities, no more racist nonsense, just big, strong, socialist global administration to give us safety and security once more. And what is most ridiculous, or what is most unfortunate, I think, is all of those liberal leftists in the second stage who started up community organisations against racism, took all that money from the government, spread about all of their propaganda, worked to bring all those refugees in because diversity. After the revolution takes place, after society collapses and a new form of administration is imposed or is requested by the people who are in turmoil, those liberal leftists, guess what they get? Knock at the door, new secret police or some form of government agency says, you, come with us, you're under arrest. They take you out into the bush, kneel down in front of that pit, boom, and they shoot you. Why? Because you're a threat to the new administration. They don't want activists. It doesn't matter if you're an anarchist or a conservative right-winger or a nationalist. It doesn't matter. You'll all get that knock at the door. As soon as society ceases to function, as soon as they are ready to impose their new form of administration, ready to convince people that it is necessary in order to fix all of the problems with racism, racial and religious clashes that they have created, they'll knock on your door, drag you out into the bush, and they will shoot you. No more gay activism, no more feminist activism, no more anarchism, no more nonsense on the streets. No more right wing, no more left wing, no more social divisions, no more Marxism, no more National Socialism. Just good, strong, bland proletariats, no activists. And what is most tragic about this situation is history shows that it doesn't matter how clear I am in explaining this. All of those liberal leftists, they won't see the reality until the boot of the military is crushing down on their skulls. Some of them might see it, but not all of them. Not very many. So what can you do? What can you do to prevent this process, or to assist in preventing this process? The answer, believe it or not, is not diversity is our greatest strength, is not just to get along. It doesn't matter how much propaganda you try to spread about, encouraging people to get along, equality, diversity. No, because the reality is, the more different people of different cultures, different ethnicities, different religions, customs, traditions, heritage, the more racism you have. The more different people living together in the same place, the more racism there's going to be. It's inevitable. And those in power pushing for refugee intake, they know it. Refugees equals racism. The more there is, the more racism there's going to be. The more conflict and clashing between groups, the more division there's going to be. The faster we can move into the final stage of crisis and the imposition of a new administration of governments. Socialist global administration, which will not be the administrative power of liberal leftism. No. Liberal leftism only has one purpose: destroy existing society, ruin it, and prepare it for collapse. And then afterwards, come with us. Boom. You've served your purpose. That's the truth. And I'm hated so much because I tell the truth. Nobody in this society today is more hated than someone such as myself. What I'm telling you right now, this video is heresy. Really, it is. To critique all of the abstractions, equality, diversity, inclusion, is heresy. But ask yourself, what is there to gain for me in telling you this? You'll hear from mainstream journalism and social powers, opposition political factions, that I am just a crazy, racist, Nazi, criminal person that you should not listen to. I've pretty much made myself unemployable. It's fortunate that I have a trade because I can work for myself. I don't have to kiss the feet of some employer who demands that I cease my political activity because I'm making his company look bad. I don't have to worry about that, but a lot of people do. But why would I put myself through all of this? Through all of the slander, social, financial, asphyxiation, just to tell you nonsense for no reason? They hate me. The media, the journalists, political opponents, they hate me because I tell you the truth. So spread the truth. Share the message. See if we can prevent our country from falling into this crisis.